This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of August 19th, 2024. We are in the midst of incredibly complicated, incredibly involved, incredibly intense energies. And the good news is they are bringing release, which may or may not be comfortable as it happens. And the aftermath has the promise of stabilizing us a little bit. So it's as if a couple of Instapots are in the kitchen and one of them is having the steam just blow out. One of them has the lid blow off. The situation brings to mind a release experience that I had on a road trip in my 30s. I was with a small group of friends. Someone not in the group got wind of the trip, flew into the city where we were, and inveigled herself into the proceedings. Interpersonally, the politics were very, very tricky. And two of us, actually three of us, just sort of tolerated it. But by the Sunday of the long weekend, one of the other people and I had hit a point where we just couldn't take it anymore. And the slightest little thing was causing us to burst into uncontrollable hysterics, laughter, just to break the tension. That sort of thing is a probability with the Aquarius full moon on Monday, which punches into change agent Uranus in Taurus, which has seen a lot of activity in the last couple of months. Retrograde Mercury is also part of the act. You very well will experience a personal processing of a lot of sudden plot twists, sudden developments that have occurred in recent months, possibly in your own life, probably in the collective. At the same time, there is a similar configuration coming to a head that's been building over the last week and is going to continue loosely back and forth into next summer. And that has to do with a challenging aspect between Jupiter and Saturn, with some bonus players this time around. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. It's in the sign that has to do with talk, ideas, communication. Saturn is a limiting influence. It's the lord of karma, the planet of adulting, the party pooper, the guy who wants structure. So there's a conflict, an inherent built-in challenge to contain, to put some order on thoughts, options, chatter. But two other players, Venus and Mars, the masculine and the feminine, desires and motivations. Mars is with Jupiter, pumping things up forcefully, agitatedly, aggressively. Venus is opposing Saturn, Venus in Virgo. Venus in Virgo wants order. It's a kind of a companion or echoing statement to what Saturn is up to. So we have this heavy masculine influence saying, put a lid on it. And then there is the feminine influence saying, how can we do this better? Mind your boundaries. Let's calm this down. Let's clean this up. And they're both slamming directly into Jupiter and Mars in Gemini. Both of these come to a head, the Aquarius full moon and this T-square, mutable T-square, on Monday, the day of the Democratic National Convention's start. Players in this convention play out some of the aspects of the mutable T-square especially, and the Aquarius full moon is hitting everybody. The U.S., both Democratic candidates, both Republican candidates, the current president, I have a discussion of a lot of this on the Professional Aquarian YouTube channel. The video is called Engines of Change, the Astrology of Mid-August 2024. So I will refer you to that for specifics about how it's hitting people. But whatever is happening now, there is a moment of adopting, adapting, thinking, messaging, how your mind is doing things, and you will have a second pass at this, whatever this is doing in your chart. On around Christmas Eve, this aspect, the square, tightens again, and then it comes around again next summer, but Jupiter and Saturn will be in different clothing by then. So, several things just kind of exploding at once, coming to a head, forced action, forced resolution, something breaking, something shattering, something taking a form, something taking a new form and solidifying in your life, as well as what you're seeing out in the collective. And then from the 21st to the 22nd, we do get a sense of what all of this means for us personally, because the sun makes an adjustment aspect with the cosmic fog machine, Neptune, on the 21st. We tinker with our view of ourself. We tinker with our view of the media or magical thinking or what people have told us, what we believe or don't believe, and maybe have the calling to look at something with fresh eyes. The sun moves into Virgo on the 22nd, where Venus already is, and we all get a bit of clean it up mode instilled into us. And as soon as the sun makes that shift, we come butt up against huge machinations of power, something deep within us that we're kind of scared of. The sun makes an adjustment aspect with Pluto, and there may be a part of yourself that is part of what you want to just cut away, get rid of, as the sun is in the cleanup zone of Virgo. As this happens, there is also a huge push to go after something you really want. Venus squares Mars, same day, the 22nd, and the feminine force is telling the masculine force, this is what I want, go get it, shove. This could affect relationships. You could see this playing out between people. It could be simply that you see, okay, this is the level of order or restructuring or healthiness I want in my life, and here's what I'm going to do, wham, to go get this in there. And there may be messages, forceful communication that come out of it because Mars is in the communication zone. Not entirely comfortable. There may very well be something that you're just wanting to soft pedal with Mercury in a semi-sextile, a very uncomfortable aspect with Venus. But then an opening comes for you to actually act on what you're thinking, to communicate something, to put a thought into action, with the week ending with Mercury in an opportunity aspect with Mars. Incredibly volatile week, many, many things happening. Kind of stand back and let things play out. It's not really energy you want to force. A lot of things will feel like they're being forced on you. You may witness things being forced, but know that in one regard, whatever the shocks or surprises or giant epiphanies are, they are growing out of developments that have been building and building and building and building and building, like me and my friend bursting into hysterical laughter. And you might see expressions of absolute relief going on around you. Perhaps you have had some of the same lately. And then the other big configuration is one that has a more recent building and will continue to be with us. So we'll be working with this mutable, push this way, push that way. How are we going to change it? How are we going to ride herd on what is happening? How are we going to put structure on these thoughts and contain them? Big week. Homing thought of the week, something's got to give. Song of the week, I have 3. The first one is a holdover from last week, and it is finally the ending chord in the Beatles' A Day in the Life, after the orchestra has just built and gotten more and more intense, and then a piano chord comes down and resonates for, I think, a good 60 seconds or so. The second one is I Love the Sound of Breaking Glass by Nick Lowe. And the third is Let It Go from Frozen. The image of the week is an Instapot. You'll learn more about this in my forecast for the Aquarius full moon, which is already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Gemini quick reference guide to download as a thank you for subscribing, and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years experience. Visit omtimes.com for my Mercury retrograde guide. I have a lot of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio and TV on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. And this week I'm talking about a new book called Everyday Magic. I host lively conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group, the Astro-Insight Lounge. I post on Instagram and Threads at K.A. Biehl, and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.